found 2 more McFarlane toys. Green Lanterns. Oh, I'm going to fall down another rabbit hole here. So look, if I could get a bunch of Wonder Woman on my shelf, I would. But I'm particular as to said Wonder Woman. Yes, there are certain looks I like. There are certain looks that are too far removed. There are certain looks and personalities that I simply don't care for. I am fairly particular when it comes to Wonder Woman. I could add Batman to the shelf many, many times. But, once again, I am particular. I love Nightfall Batman. I bought both variants of it because it made the most sense. I bought First Appearance Batman because I've always had this interesting soft spot for the original first costume that saw so little feature. Also, I would love to get like Hush on the shelf. That would be fantastic. But in all honesty, like the Arkham Knight Batman, I'm probably going to take off of the shelf because while I like that game a lot, that Batman, costume-wise, never spoke to me. I don't feel anything from that. Just does nothing for me. I don't need it, don't want it. It's been on this shelf for a long time by circumstance. It just so happens that years ago, I bought a pack that just so happened to be on clearance that was an entire Arkham wave, and I got a bunch of the Arkham figures. And in all honesty, I never thought those figures were very good. I just kind of tolerated them. I got the Harley Quinn, I thought she looked great, but over the years, I've actually found that her articulation is garbage, and it honestly bothers me that she can't do much. There's a good Joker, looking-wise, there's the Arkham suit Batman, and there was the Scarecrow. None of these things ever really did it for me. I don't think the figures are all that great. They are on the shelf. But that's about it. And in all honesty, when it comes to Batman, when it comes to Superman, when it comes to main characters, oftentimes, the only thing I really need worry about is getting the one definitive look, or maybe 2, maybe 3 definitive looks that I want on the shelf. They're on there, done. That's fine. That's fine. But every now and then, I have a favorite that gets out of control. Lanterns are that for me. The Lanterns are my favorite. I think they're unbelievable. I think they're so freaking good. I love the Lantern Corps. I've read almost all of it. Here's the thing. While I haven't read any of the new stuff, I read almost all of the old stuff. And I read a huge portion of before and after the Black Lantern series. Like, I read a lot of it, and I own a lot of it. I have 2 full shelves of just Green Lantern graphic novels. Like, I've read a lot of it. I would promise that over the time, especially from like the showcases that I read and then sold, I have read more Green Lantern than I have not read, even though I'm not currently reading it. Like, I know I've read a ridiculous amount of it. And the thing about Green Lantern is that there's Hal Jordan. There's Hal Jordan in different looks that I like in different looks. There's Hal Jordan as a Yellow Lantern. I would buy that. It's not a simple color change to me. There's a story behind it. I would buy him as a Red Lantern. This is just Hal Jordan. We're not even talking about John, who's on the shelf already. We're not even talking about Kyle Rayner, who is my favorite, the Black Lantern Batman, the Black Lantern Superman, Necron I would buy. I would love to have Necron on the shelf, in all honesty. I have Atrocitus on the shelf. I bought that entire wave. I would love to get Tumar Ray, but I actually don't like that the newest figure coming out really comes with Tuvar Ray, but also comes with Abin Sur. Like, I don't like that. I don't like that because it's one body with two heads, which means that if I want both of them, I have to buy them twice and then end up with extra heads. An extra portrait head for photograph purposes, like a masked and an unmasked head, is one thing. Two heads for two separate characters, I don't like that. That is not my favorite thing at all, because all it does is force me to buy another of them and get another head with the extra body that I need. I don't like that. I don't want to do it, but in a way, he's going to make me do it. Now, for a long time, I stayed away from the lanterns because I knew that if I started buying them, they were a line that could get me in trouble. And I still think that's true. But I got my paycheck, I've paid off my fun card, and that's the card that I use specifically to buy toys. So I had a lot of extra money on that card, way more than I've had in like a couple of months. And I said, this is great. I'm going to buy something. I'm going to do it. I've maxed the card, I've paid the card off completely. I can use it. There's no reason not to use it right now. As long as I don't get stupid about it, I can still afford the Conan books I want. I'll give myself a limit, $100. I did. I went online. I got the searching. This was on sale. I'm not going to claim to remember the exact price dollar I spent on it, but it was less than what it actually cost. I may have spent like $40, if I remember right. It wasn't enough to make me worry. I remember that very specifically. It was way under the budget I'd given myself. And I said, oh, Kilowog? Kyle Rayner 90s outfit? Damn it, you got me. And I bought them. So let's see them. Okay, so here they are. And for what it's worth, they move like DC multiverse characters. I'm not freaked out or unopposed to anything one way or another. He has a little less movement than your average, but I think it's because he's so big, and the problem where he's experiencing movement is only in his arms. He has the one joint in the elbow, and that's it, instead of the dual joint in the elbow that allows this guy to get his arms all the way up, just like all the other ones that we've seen in this line. I don't feel like it's anything that's going to put me off, though, because for what it's worth, talk about getting the scale right. Look at that. That's Kilowog right there. That is him, man. I love this. First off, I love Kilowog. Like the drill sergeant of the Green Lantern Corps, basically. Oh man, can't get enough of him. Love him. Just love him. Absolutely. His attitude, he's that gentle giant, that guy that's very scary, but then you get to know him and he's very much like Ben. He's just like a good dude. I love Kilowog. He's so freaking awesome. Now this adds Kilowog into the collection, which is the main reason I bought this, because I have never liked that costume. I don't know what we were doing in the 90s. I really don't know what we were doing in the 90s that made us think that was a good idea. The Kyle Rayner outfit, I've always thought was stupid. Just always. These guys, I like what they've done here, with the figures. They're not just plain. Like, they added all this pattern to them. Texture, I guess, is the best way to put it. I like that. I think that's a really good idea. I think that it helps them to kind of stand out, even though they are just very simple bodysuit characters. Now, with Kilowog added, I now have John, which we're going to bring out here. He can stand with everybody. And this is the John I wanted, so that's really good. If I come across another John, I'll have no problem buying him, but that's the one that I wanted. I also got the Kyle Rayner specific that I actually like, and because they each came with something different, see, the new Kyle Rayner that I got, which is almost somewhat weird to say because if I'm not mistaken, this Kyle Rayner is newer than this Kyle Rayner. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like I'm right. I feel like this one came out after this one. Either way, I like this costume more than I like this costume. So, to rectify that, since he came with that sword, and then the Kyle Rayner here came with basically a repeat of the same sword, but a better green, I would argue, I have decided that it makes most sense for me to give him his armor effect that he came with. So that's what we're going to do. This Kyle Rayner is very much going to use his armor effect and his samurai sword. And I'll have no problem with him being like that. I think that is cool. I like that he got the green translucent armor. I like that he has the sword and everything. Now, as for you, big boy over here, I gotta ask a question. We gotta know. Are you Atrocitus size? Because Atrocitus is huge. There's Atrocitus, and I would argue Atrocitus is the littlest bit bigger. And I don't think I hate that at all. That is currently my, aside from him, those are my Green Lanterns. I know I don't have much, but that's because for the longest time, I was actively avoiding going down this rabbit hole because for me, this can be a real problem. I know when a series hits me, when a certain toy hits me that I know is going to be a problem, and I already have a money dump toy. Masters of the Universe are my money dump problem toy. I want almost literally every single thing I see from Masters of the Universe, and that also falls into the idea of barbarians, Frazetta barbarians, and things of that nature. I love to mix those in there. Red Sonja, Conan the Barbarian. Currently, we have the Norsemen coming out from Frazetta Girls and whatnot. That's where I make my absolute home. It's what I love the most. I'm going to spend my money on it. Green Lanterns, the Lantern Corps, all the lanterns, that's a problem for me. This is another money dump area. If I buy into these, and I already have, it's going to become an issue, one that I have to monitor very, very, very carefully, or I could get myself into trouble. When we collect, we need to be honest with ourselves. And in so, I need to be able to look at certain lines and know what is going to be a problem. Street Fighter, not a problem. It's not a problem. I want all of it, but it's not releasing fast enough or costing enough to cause a problem. G.I. Joe, not a problem. Every now and then I see ones I want, and I'm only going after them when I have the extra money to do so, because while I think the G.I. Joes are an unbelievable line, Classified is an unbelievable line, the fact of the matter is this: I didn't grow up with it the same way other people did. I'm not into it the way people are. I don't care. I think that is one of the best toy lines, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, on the market that you can invest in. And I think it makes the rest of that company look bad. Honestly. I could do an entire talk video on the fact that I think that Classified makes the Star Wars figures look like a joke that need to catch up. I just feel that way. The Black Series Star Wars needs to go through heavy, heavy renovation to catch itself back up to what we're seeing quality-wise from G.I. Joe. Because G.I. Joe is just... Even the characters, even the figures I don't want are absolute... They're just knocking it out of the park. Pap! There it goes. Like, we're seeing so many toy lines step up their game all of a sudden. Look at Marvel Legends that finally decided after all this time of being on the top and not have to worry about nothing, all of a sudden they turned around and said, are we losing ground? And the entire collective community said, yeah, you're losing ground. And there's a reason for it. And they were like, oh, hold up. No, not okay. And then they started putting in the work, and all of a sudden we are getting absolute figures. It's working out so well for us. But other figures are not getting the hint. And like those turtles that came out not way too long ago, they should have been the origins to Playmates Turtles. They are not. I don't hate them. I did an entire video on them. You can check that out. It's in the annotations. But, let's be honest, that is not an Origins Turtle. That is not what we were hoping for. Now, I've heard there's an entire second wave coming out, and I can expect the same level of disappointment. But, do they have my attention enough? I don't know. I heard something about the Shredder and Rocksteady, so I'm going to guess there's a Shredder, Rocksteady, Bebop, and probably Master Splinter coming out. That's going to be my guess. I don't know, but I've heard there's another wave coming out of that turtle line, so we'll see. At $13, it's not breaking the bank, I think, is the thing that's going to make that okay. But these are like $25 figures, sometimes $30 figures. We'll forgive a lot in those lines. But also, I can't just buy them like crazy. I need to watch myself, and I need to be careful, because this is something, getting into Green Lantern collecting is something that could get me in trouble, because I like a lot of it. Like a lot of it. And I know I missed a lot of it because I purposely kept myself out of it, so I'm going to be either playing the heavy waiting game or the shopping careful game, where you kind of look for that, is he worth $100? I don't feel like he is, but he's not going to come out again for a very long time. Then, of course, you spend the $100 and turn around and find out, oh, there he is. Like that's always a possibility with figures. Either way, I just need to be honest with myself and keep my mind open about what I'm doing. This is starting into a whole new line of possibility with me, because I am going to start kind of hunting Green Lanterns, kind of putting them on the shelf. They may end up with their own shelf altogether, because they're one of my favorite properties of all time. That's about it. Nothing else to talk about right here. I'm going to get out of here. I have spoken. Take what you will from it.